Happy New Year! Welcome to PlusDive, the first of 2019, and we're going to start out with Portal Knights. It's kind of a Minecraft-ish look to it. You can customize your character right off the bat, create your server, and go. The look is a lot more lush than Minecraft ever was. And fortunately, your weapon has pretty much infinite ammo, even if it does need to be repaired. Sometimes I did run into some graphical freezes. It cleared up after a couple of seconds, and I reported it, and they said to reinstall the game, and so far I haven't had another problem since. But, as the title indicates, the idea is to build portals between the various realms and travel from place to place. I think you're supposed to be uniting the realms, but there's construction, of course, with any of the resources that you might find. There's tons of crafting, from equipment to weapons to upgrades of your workbench. All in all, it was pretty slick. I definitely had some fun with this, and I'm going to have to go back to it and probably bring my nieces and nephews along, because it does actually have local multiplayer split-screen co-op. So that sounds like fun. Portal Knights is one of the PS4 freebies this month with your PS Plus subscription.
I am Arivi, and these are my stories. Shall we begin?
Don't be fooled, the entire game isn't like that, but I thought that was kind of a nifty bit. This is Steep for the PS4. I played this in beta and I wasn't that impressed, but to be perfectly honest, I was comparing it to the likes of SSX Tricky, and I think this does a different thing entirely. SSX Tricky was all about the snowboarding, all about the tricks. This seems to be, we're covering every winter mountain sport that we possibly can. And in that decentralized idea, it does it pretty well. The mountain is just one big open playground for you. You can move from point to point on the mountain fairly quickly and smoothly. There's a bunch of different stuff, and yes, there are still snowboarding tricks to do, but it definitely has come a long way since the beta, and I would recommend giving this a try. Steep is the other PS4 freebie this month, free with your PS Plus. Next up is a game that you can partially thank me for bringing to you. After its successful Kickstarter, Amplitude released on the PS3 and PS4 a sort of reimagining of the original PS2 game. The PS3 version's the only one that's free, but it does a kind of interesting campaign mode where it works sort of like a sci-fi concept album. All the music sort of goes together. And of course, depending on your difficulty level, there will be more and more buttons to press as you move along. You might say to yourself, hey, this looks a lot like Guitar Hero or Rock Band. Well, this came first. This is the granddaddy. And this is the only way I can finish a level of Crypt of the Necrodancer's music. Go grab Amplitude on the PS3 for free. You won't regret it. Next up is another PS2 favorite of mine, the Zone of the Enders HD collection on the PS3. We're starting here with Zone of the Enders 1, which, to be honest, was my favorite out of the two. I never really got into Zone of the Enders 2, but I absolutely adored Zone of the Enders. And that's in addition to the fact that the original game came with a demo for Metal Gear Solid 2. This was actually produced by Hideo Kojima, and you can tell by the copious amounts of cutscenes. But the gameplay itself is really snappy, really fast, and really satisfying. Definitely recommend it.
We found our objective at point 04.
Roger. Departing for 04.
Zone of the Enders 2 moved away from the CG 3D style cutscenes and went to more of an anime aesthetic, which actually works pretty well, especially considering the sort of cel-shaded look to the rest of the graphics. It has more of the same, which is not a bad thing at all. It's quick, it's snappy, it's satisfying. In fact, even more so with, like, right when you start out, you've got all these little mosquito units that you have to take care of. You can actually hit other enemies with enemies you've grabbed, but I'm gonna tell you, it's not easy at all. Definitely be careful. Zone of the Enders HD collection is available for free on the PS3 this month. Next up is Fallen Legions, which is one of the PS Vita freebies this month. I went through a couple of different things trying to figure out what this game was going to be before I started playing it, and this was not what I expected, but that's cool. It's got the one button per character style of some other games, but then you've got a fourth character that's standing behind and either casting healing or resurrecting the front line, or casting attack spells at the enemy. It really flows well. And then as you're moving along, you get these little decision points where not only do you get an immediate boon, but it also hints that this is going to change the way that the storyline is going to progress as you move along. I also love the little bits like this where it makes you feel like you're actually contributing to the world and actually living in it. It's very satisfying, and this game is definitely one that I'm also going to have to come back to. It's captured my interest, and perhaps it'll capture yours too. It's available on the PS4 and the Vita this month. Last up is the final PS Vita freebie of the month. That's Super Mutant Alien Assault. And you're not the mutant. You're assaulting the mutants. Just to kind of get that out of the way. You're the tiny robot with the big gun. And it's kind of a level-based system where you just need to take care of all of the enemies with the random guns that get spit out. Occasionally there are things that they add to change up the formula a bit, like you need to make sure that some coolant tanks stay cool, or bring some hyperdrive fuel to the hyperdrive, that sort of thing. I had a lot of fun. It's very quick, but it's also available for free on the PS Vita and played perfectly on my PS TV. Thanks for dropping by for yet another PlusDive. I really appreciate it. I will catch you guys next week with another feature. In the meantime, like, subscribe, share, spread the word. See you then.